Till I drop the bomb on you guys later after the show. What I'm dealing with.
A bomb?
It's not really a bomb, but it's very sad.
What is going on?
I don't know. Oh, we're good.
Okay, I was gonna say
We're finally live. We've been sitting here waiting for this. I don't know why it said excellent connection. I think we're actually live now.
Yep, I just got the notification on my phone.
All right. So what's up, everybody? Good morning. OBS Ninja playing games this morning. We were sitting there waiting for it to load for a while. Then it loaded, but then it wasn't working. But I think we are actually working now. I don't know. Steve's trying to get it working. He says whatever that means. We'll see if he makes it. But we might as well start. Washington. Oh, first off, what's up? Wait, is that Steve in here?
Yeah.
What a nightmare getting this started. But we're good. We are up and rolling. Jags looking sharp this morning. Pretty fired up about it.
Yep.
Guys, 4 points of CLV. That's how it's done.
Listen,
you're
sometimes
welcome.
if you're going to be a sharp, you're going to get cut. And do I need some hydroxy peroxide right now?
Even when they make a good play, they just fucking drop the ball.
So just so I'm clear, you got the Jags at +4. Is that what it is?
2.5. It closed at -1.5. So 4 points of CLV.
Because I feel like a real cuck betting the money line at -110.
And this team's to clarify for those who haven't watched, this team's an absolute disgrace.
And this is on me, though. This is on me. I made a vow never to bet the Jags again after what I watched on Sunday in Sauce's house. This is on me, so it's all good.
All right. So
hey, it's a little choppy on my end. It's a little choppy on my end. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. You're coming in crystal
Can you guys
clear.
hear me? Are we good? Okay.
All right. Yeah. Let's
All right, cool. You guys are not, but that's all right.
You can't. You can't
I
hear
don't
me.
hear Javo.
Oh, maybe come in. Maybe drop out and come back in.
Leave and come back in. He can't hear us.
I don't think. He
Oh
can hear
God,
us.
I hope that doesn't take a while. Hold on.
Mute that guy that keeps saying the same thing over again, please. I mean, what are you doing, dude? I told you Guardians -1.5 was free. What are you talking about? I don't even know who that is.
Chad Kinsley.
Didn't even do a stream for that game.
We don't care about fucking AL Central
No,
baseball,
and
buddy.
he's phrasing it as if we were on the Tigers. I mean, we didn't even talk about that game.
I mean, yes, I bet the Tigers, but I mean,
No, but like,
it was
I told you Guardians -1.5 was free. I wasn't on the Tigers.
What an interesting morning. Wow.
I know, man.
dude, this is something else.
All right. So anyway, wait, Steve, can you hear me now? Yep. Can you hear everybody?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't want to keep on talking with everybody.
All right, we're good. Finally.
Alrighty.
All right. So anyway, hope everyone's enjoying their weekend. Finally had a good college football Saturday. I believe the picks that I posted Friday night for Saturday, I believe they went 8-0-1. I added 2 picks on the live show that both lost, Oklahoma and Fresno. So I think my final record was 8-2-1, which is an excellent college football Saturday. And if you've been following along, you know I freaking needed that shit. College football's been killing me. So definitely nice to see. Let's keep that momentum rolling. That being said, Jags are doing their best to take it from me. They're trying so bad to take my momentum. All right. Anyway, so first game, Washington, Baltimore. I actually still haven't placed a bet on it. I don't feel any differently than I did when I uploaded this video early in the week. I think it's a Raven spot. I think an under a touchdown the play has to be Baltimore. Like I said, I haven't actually put any money down on it. 6.5 is a big number, and the Washington offense does look pretty powerful. But my main thought behind it is this Washington offense, which looks great, they haven't played one good run defense. They haven't even really played a decent run defense. The Bucs have been terrible against the run this year. The Giants, the Bengals, the Cardinals, the Browns, it's all bad run defenses. So we don't even know what Jaden Daniels looks like when he's not getting 5 yards a carry when he hands it off. They're now playing Baltimore in Baltimore. The Ravens have been the best run defense in the NFL by far so far this year. And I mean, what do we know about rookie quarterbacks? They look a lot different when you put them into 2nd and 11s, into 3rd and 8s. So Jaden Daniels could look a lot different when he's put in a situation where he can't just hand it off for 5 yards. And then look on the other side of the ball. I know the Washington defense looked good. last week against Cleveland, who, I mean, Cleveland, I don't know if they could compete in the AAC right now. That's a big play, Christian Kirk. Yeah, but I don't know if Cleveland could even compete in college. I mean, that offense is so terrible. Other than that, Washington has been one of the worst defenses in the NFL. I'm sure they will improve. But you on paper, we're looking at one of the worst defenses in the NFL on the road against the best offense in the NFL. So even if you're like, no, Kyle, the Ravens can't stop Jaden Daniels. All right, I mean, even if they make 2 stops, they might cover this number because I don't know how many stops Washington's going to make on the Ravens offense, running the ball, throwing the ball, pretty much whatever they want. So my pick on this game is Baltimore -6.5. I was hoping that it would be bet down. I said, I believe early in the week, I said I would bet the Ravens if it hit 5.5. It never even hit 6, so it's still sitting at 6.5. That's how I feel.
I'll just go really quickly. I played the under 52. A little bit of a sell high on both of these offenses right now. Obviously, they've both looked pretty decent over the first couple of weeks of the season, but I just feel like 52 is a little bit high. Obviously, I played 52. It's at 51.5 now. I felt like 52 was a little bit high. Not to mention the fact that the Washington Commanders defensively can't stop the pass to save their life, but against the run, they've been around average or so. So I just feel like as long as Baltimore just doesn't absolutely blow them out of the water, scoring a whole bunch of points, that we go under this. So I know the world's going to love the over. I think that tick down from 52 to 51.5 tells me everything I need to know. So under.
Under for Toast. Steve?
Yeah. I'm still trying to recover from the last play from my Ohio State Buckeyes last night. But Washington and Baltimore have a combined 8-2 record to the over this season so far. It seems like a trap play. I didn't check the numbers. I'm gonna guess the public is all over the Commanders here in this one.
I mean,
and everything. But
Baltimore's also a team they love, though, so I'm not really sure. I would imagine it's closer to split, but yeah, I would imagine Washington would be one of the more public dogs. Yeah.
Anyway, so my best bet in this game, I kind of agree with what Kyle said, but my best bet is Zay Flowers. This over 54.5 receiving yards. This line is too low, -113. One of my favorite props of the day. 12 targets, 7 catches for over 100 yards last week. He's had a couple duds this season, but the reason were because of blowouts. They beat the Bills 35-10, ran all over them, up 28-6 heading to the fourth quarter against Dallas. I do think the Commanders can keep it somewhat competitive. I don't think they're going to get blown out by 25-30 here. If you take the non-blowout games, 10, 11, and 12 targets, and Zay 19 most yards after catch this season. Commanders 22nd in receiving yards allowed. They've allowed 5 wide receivers to go over this line already. They play a lot of man. Zay Flowers is one of the best wide receivers against man. I think this number is too low. He's also the first leg of a ladder parlay, although I didn't take him up that much because I played it safe, but I took him up to 60+. I think you could even go up to 70+, but I think Zay Flowers has a big game here.
All right, prop Beaver.
Yeah, I got 2 plays in this one. Just real quick for me, Jabbo, do you mind muting your mic when you're not talking? There's like a weird feedback that comes up on yours when some of the other guests are talking. And I don't want to get in trouble when I mute you and you start talking and the whole crowd goes apeshit on me. Yeah, so I got 2 in this one. I don't know where they are in this list. I love this right now.
Andy did your graphics. That's fine.
Yeah. So I've got Jaden Daniels under 48.5 rushing yards, and then I've also got Lamar Jackson over 1.5 pass TDs. The Jaden Daniels one, I feel like this is a nice sell high here. The dude is coming off an 80+ yard rushing yard performance. He's been a monster on the ground thus far. He's averaging 60 yards per game, but he's still under 3 of his 5 starts thus far. And one of those starts was his first game. The Bucs blitz this guy on 58% of his dropbacks. Now going to face a Ravens pass rush that's just 23rd in pressure rate, and that's pretty important here because Daniels, he has a 37% scramble rate on pressures. The next closest in the NFL is Brock Purdy at 16%, less than half the rate that Daniels scrambles at. And this is a Ravens rush defense that's held all 5 opposing QBs under their yards mark. They average just 6.2 yards per game on 2.4 attempts. Now, you may be saying, well, who do they face? Mahomes' last 4 games, he was averaging 20 rush yards per game on 3.78 yards per carry. Well, against the Ravens, that was just 3 yards on 1.5 yards per carry. Josh Allen, same thing. 35 yards per game on 6.6 yards per carry. Against the Ravens, just 21 on 4.2. So you're obviously seeing those yards and that efficiency take a massive hit against this Ravens defense, who are really taking away the run from those dual threat quarterbacks. This is a rush defense that's been elite, not only against regular rushes, but against the quarterback all season. And I feel like this mark is still 7 to 10 yards too high. You got the rush attempts for Jaden Daniels well at 9.5 with the under juiced. He's had double-digit rush attempts in nearly every game thus far. So if the attempts are not going to be there, I don't think the yards are going to be there either. And then the other one that I like in this game is Lamar Jackson over 1.5 pass TDs. The last 2 weeks, we have not seen quarterbacks go over the 1.5 pass TD mark against the Commanders, but just before that, it had been an absolute wagon. I still believe the last 15 and 19 to face this team have gone over the mark, and Lamar Jackson in wins at home has been a wagon with this line. I believe he's over his last 6 to 7 in these opportunities, and if you know Lamar Jackson in the NFC, he is 20-1. Yes, 20-1 straight up in his last 21 opportunities against the NFC. So I think he's going to win this game straight up. I believe the Commanders are a bit overvalued due to some weak defenses they've seen lately. And yeah, I really like both of these bets here. I think this is a good one.
All right, let's move on to the next game, which is Houston, New England. I would imagine, actually, I did watch a little bit. It seems like I was correct in what I said early in the week. I said I imagine most quote-unquote sharps are going to come in and take Patriots +7, and it looks like that's true because the 7s are gone. Can't say I disagree with it. Now that it's under 7, though, there's no way I would take New England. Actually, what I did, touchdown Jags, by the way. Ridley.
Ridley? You mean the GOAT, BTJ?
Oh, my God, Gabe Davis. Ridley's on. He looks just like Ridley from last year.
It wasn't ETN, that's all I know.
No, it was Gabe Davis. So anyway, what I actually did in this game, and I'm sure Prop Beaver, I'm sure Andy made a graphic for it because I posted it on the site. It's I did like a money line parlay, which I don't like to do, but I mean both are 6-point favorites about, so it comes out to be about the same as one of those Wong teasers. I got the Texans money line and the Falcons money line parlayed together. Mm-hmm. Look, this isn't going to be a long description. I think, and I've been saying this for multiple weeks, I think the current state of the Patriots offensive line, I think this might be one of the most terrible offensive lines we've seen in recent history in the NFL. Coming into this one, they're on their third center. The guard is out, the tackle is out, and it looks like they benched their other tackle. So the one tackle's out, and the other one got benched. So technically entering the season, it'll be their third and fourth tackles, I believe, played in this one. They look terrible. This Patriots offensive line. I don't know what Drake May is going to do here. Maybe they come out with some, I don't know, some play calling that's creative and catches them off guard. Maybe. But this is a Houston Texans team that is in no position to be complacent, though. It's not like Houston's look sweet. That offense doesn't look right. C.J. Stroud, even since his career started, hasn't been as effective on the road. So it's not necessarily a great spot for Houston offensively. I don't really trust that Texans offense right now. That being said, the idea that the Patriots still have a good defense, man, that defense is pretty ass, too. This is a bottom 7 or 8 passing defense this year. They're getting blown off the line of scrimmage. They're like 29th in adjusted line yards, 28th in yards before contact, a below average pass rush. So I don't even think the Patriots defense is any good either. I think if Houston puts up 17 points in this game, that they will probably still cover the -6.5. So now that it's below 7, I lean towards the Houston side ATS, but the bet I actually placed is the one on the screen.
Who wants to go next?
Yeah, whoever wants.
I'll go. It's New England or pass for me. I can tell you right now, CJ Stroud is 1-6 ATS against teams under 500 in his career, and D'Amico Ryans has the same type of situation as a head coach. I do know that Houston is one of the luckiest teams in the league so far as the luck rankings are concerned. I don't really know what to do with the fact that Drake May is going to be playing now. So Again, I lean Patriots, but I really just didn't want to bet on a rookie quarterback against a team like the Texans. So there's no way I lay with the Texans, but like I said, it's a pass for me.
Someone said Prop Beaver hit us with the Drake May rushing prop. Let's hear it.
All right. Yeah, I guess I might as well dive into it. So yeah, this is my bet of the week. Drake May over 27.5 rushing yards.
Wait, didn't you get a 24.5?
I got a 24.5, but it's honestly, it's pretty much all the same to me. I would have played this up to 29.5 or 1.5 units, to be completely honest with
You're telling me to ladder it.
No, I'm not telling you to ladder it. I
Ladder
was
the
tempted.
shit out of
I
it.
was pretty tempted on laddering it, but I was like, AJ, let's be a little responsible here. It's the guy's first start, and honestly, he could get a concussion with that O-line that he's playing behind. So, yeah, I really love this prop. I mean, Texans have been getting ran all over by dual threat QBs thus far. Tony Rich, 6 carries, 56 yards. Caleb Williams, 5 carries, 44 yards, and then Josh Allen, 4 carries, 54 yards. I mean, these guys aren't even getting volumes, and they're just murdering their rushing yards lines. 5 carries, 51 yards per game, 10.3 yards per carry. That's what that trio put up against the Texans. And now we've got Drake May, who his senior year in college, this is a guy who averaged 37 rush yards per game on 9.3 attempts per game his senior year. And guess what? College includes sack yards, so that is extremely impressive right there. In his lone regular season NFL drive we've seen from May, dude had 12 yards on 2 attempts, just 12 dropbacks at MetLife. So that projects over a full NFL game, well over this total. On top of that, in the preseason, 15 and 17 yards on 4 and 3 attempts, despite just 24 and 32 snaps. He's going to see about double that in a real NFL game. Again, would project over this total. Add in that heinous Patriots O-line and the Houston fearsome pass rush, and I just think the dude's going to be running for his life here. Obviously, the risk is injury, but I think that as long as the dude is staying on the field, he stays upright, I think that he goes over this total here.
Yeah, and someone real quick before Steve goes here, someone in the comments brought up the painting nails thing. I never said that. By the way, someone said that in the Discord that I would paint my nails if the Jags lost this game. I didn't agree to that. I wasn't a part of that conversation. Someone just said that. And then, like, it's being spun around as if I said I would paint my nails if the Jags lost this game. That conversation happened. I was not a part of it. Someone just said that. So that's not true. False. I'm not painting men. I'm not painting shit. Steve, go.
All right, that was interesting. So rookie quarterback, play of the week, first game ever. That is ballsy, I'll tell you. But my best bet in this game, it's a Texans team total under 23.5. This number's too high. This number's too high. Kyle's kind of said it. You know, they may cover the spread by scoring 17. I don't want to count on the Patriots offense or anything like that. Texans, obviously, without Nico Collins. Guys, they looked terrible in the second half without Nico. Last week, they scored 6 points. They struggled mightily. They just haven't been the same. They're actually 31st in EPA per play on first and second down. I mean, it has just not been pretty for them. The run game been bad without Mixon, obviously. 23rd rush yards per game, bottom 10 yards per carry. Old line's not the same. Kind of like what they said. The Texans offense just isn't the same right now. They're not getting those big splash plays like they got last year, and they're not going to get it today, obviously, without Nico Collins. It's going to be a lot harder. Tank Dell, I don't know where he's been so far this year. I know he's been a little hurt, but Patriots defense, I'm not going to sit here and say they're great, but I don't think they're as bad as people think, especially at home. They've already held 2 teams under 23.5 in the 2 games at home. They're holding teams to 7th fewest yards per carry in the NFL. Texans can't run it anyways. They get some pressure, 12 sacks. Keon White's been really good for them. Houston's only averaging 20.4 points per game. So I don't know why we're getting a team total when they have to go to New England now of 23.5. As long as Drake May and those guys don't just do something stupid like a pick six or something like that, I just think 23.5 is too high. I can see them scoring 17, maybe 20, but I don't want to trust the Patriots offense either. So give me the team total for the Texans under.
As someone who watched a lot of Drake May at North Carolina, he's capable of it.
Capable of doing something stupid? Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next game. All right, next up. Bears, Eagles. Before you start the poll, Prop Beaver, can you throw up a Bears plus 8.5 under me?
A Bears?
Yeah, I didn't bet this.
There's no Bears in sight in here.
Yeah, just Browns.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. There you go. Look at the Jags defense right now. Holy shit. We're swarming 11 hats to the ball here in Jacksonville or wherever the hell they are.
In Tottenham.
Here in Tottenham. All right. So this is my pick for the game. I did not bet this. I'm not putting $1 of my money on Deshaun Watson right now. But I don't know what we've seen from the Eagles offense that would put us in a position where we can lay 8.5 points. 8.5 is a huge number in the NFL. If you see someone laying 8.5, it better be a Super Bowl favorite. And that's certainly not what the Eagles look like right now. Look, Cleveland looks like the worst offense in the NFL. We can say it. It's okay. They're not listening. They might be the worst offense in the NFL right now. But you know what? The Eagles defense might be bottom 5, honestly. So it's not like, I don't know how they're going to move the ball. That being said, Cleveland couldn't move the ball in Washington either. So it is what it is. I don't have much faith in the Browns offense. But the Eagles are having problems. Check this out. Jalen Hurts on paper is one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL when pressured. 11.1 turnover-worthy play rate when pressured. So, I mean, if you pressure Jalen Hurts 10 times, he's giving you an interceptable ball once out of those 10. I think it's 39th in the NFL. 3.6 yards per pass attempt when pressured. Jalen Hurts really struggling to handle pressure right now, and if there's any aspect of the Cleveland Browns we still could have some faith in, it would be the pass rush. There's some injuries to the secondary there, but Zadarius Smith, Myles Garrett, they're both healthy. They're both going to be coming here. So I can't lay 8.5 with a matchup like that. Look, the Eagles are going to come in here, hand the ball off to Saquon Barkley a billion times. Why wouldn't they? And Cleveland's run defense is below average, but is that enough to cover 8.5? I'd say no. Didn't bet it. Browns or pass.
I'll go real quick. Not betting this game. Not laying 8.5 points with dog shit Eagles. Not betting the Browns. Maybe the rest of the year. Pass.
This was the easiest pass on the board for me. I didn't spend more than 10 minutes on this.
So quick.
Steve?
Yeah. So no, this is one of those things where I gotta watch the paint dry. This isn't it. I will say this: Browns have gone under their team total in every game, but now their team total is all the way down to 16.5. It's pretty insane. I just see everything they said. I can't back Deshaun. If they would have benched Deshaun for this game, I probably would have been all over the Browns, to be honest with you. But I don't trust Philly. I like a Saquon over rushing yards. Other than that, I mean, this is just, let's move on.
All right, let's move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Steve, would you like to kick us off and talk about your beloved Colts?
I heard your boys are the guy who sings that song.
You know the song?
Can we stop beloved Colts thing?
You love the Colts, bro. Say it.
This
Own
is
it.
our
Own
Colts.
it.
This is our song.
Dude, if I have to own the Padres, you're going to be owning the Colts. So you better get used to it.
Screw the Padres. How did that happen? Anyways, Colts. Okay,
no one knows.
Here we go. I have a best bet in this game. But who knows? Trend real quick. Titans 8-0-1 against the spread last 9 games following a bye. My lean here would be the Titans team with total over, or Levis over passing yards. So here's the deal with Levis over passing yards. He's faced a lot of tough he's faced a lot of tough pass defenses, I will say, Jets, Bears, but when he faced a pretty decent one in Green Bay, he threw for like 260 yards. It's the Indianapolis Colts. If you cannot throw for 200 yards against the Indianapolis Colts, you need to really rethink your career, I think. But in this one, I mean, this is a coin flip. I lean Titans side. My best bet is nothing like special. It's Tony Pollard anytime touchdown. If you want to take Tony Pollard over rush yards too, I think he has a big game. He scored a touchdown now in 2 of 4 games. He has now 3 games of 16-plus carries. The whole Tajay Spears, Tony Pollard split carries like we thought we were getting this year, that is not the case. This Colts defense, here's the deal with the Colts. I thought they were going to be decent, like okay enough on defense because I thought they could get pressure, but they can't get any pressure. And obviously injuries have hurt that. But everything said based on what they had last year, who they have coming in this year, they were going to get some pressure on quarterbacks, and they flat out can't. They make life easy on quarterbacks, on running backs, everything. Bigsby just ran for 101 and a TD against them last week. I think all things Pollard, but I'm going to take Pollard anytime touchdown, and the Colts suck.
I'm actually on the other side of this one, but this is my smallest bet of the day.
Are you happy about Flacco starting?
Wait, what?
I just heard that Flacco starting. That's what the comments are saying.
No, they had to have just announced that.
That's what I have too. That's what I have too.
9 minutes ago. 9 minutes ago. And now, oh, shit. So my Colts +3 probably has value now.
If I was you, I'd be happy.
I don't know. I kind of wanted Richardson in there.
This is our Colts. Did the song get you there?
No, it's true story, though. I was upstairs. So our office is downstairs. I live upstairs, and I came downstairs, and Prop Beaver had that song on, listening to it, not sarcastically. Like, he was jamming out to the Colts song.
Fantastic song.
He loves that song. So yeah, I'm on Colts +3, but you can't get that anymore. When it hit 3, that's when I bet it. What are we doing here? I understand why people are gravitating towards the Titans, but this is a really bad team. This is a really bad team. I know the injuries to the Colts defense, it looks bad. They haven't been good at all. Like Steve said, they're not generating pressure. But this is still a Colts team that beat the Steelers outright. They beat the Bears outright. They're winning games. Laying 3 points. Now that it's at 2.5, it's a little bit of a different story. But laying 3 points with the Titans just sounds insane to me. I know Jonathan Taylor being out is tough, right? Colts still averaged 5 yards per carry last week against the Jags, who have a top 10 run defense, even though they don't really look like it right now. So yeah, I took the Colts at +3, one of my smaller bets of the day. So I'm not going to spend a ton of time talking about it.
I just got a really small. I put like $25 on it. Chig Okongwu, anytime touchdown. Colts defense has a couple bad things about them. One, they're 24th in defensive DVOA against the pass. What, Beaver?
I said a couple.
I said it wrong. Okay, leave me alone. Okay, you've been on my ass all morning. Okay, just think
He's been on.
Okay, the 24th in defensive DVOA versus the pass, along with 30th against tight ends. Okongwu is at +550. He's playing most of the snaps for the Colts. I'll take my chances. So, thanks for throwing me off, Beaver.
No, I was trying to support your case, Goat.
No, you weren't.
Yes, I was, Goat. Don't ever.
See, now you're calling me a goat because you know it's going to piss me off, and I don't appreciate it.
No, because you're
It's
the
definitely
goat.
a condescending goat.
It is. It's definitely so condescending.
Whoa. How could a goat ever be condescending?
The way you said it was definitely a condescending goat.
Yeah. So in support of your thing, Kyle, Gus Bradley lives out of, I believe it's cover 3. This dude, Will Levis, can't throw out a cover 3 for jack shit. But in support of my case and Mr. Jabbo, the Colts can't pressure for jack shit, and my boy Will Levis.
Your boy?
My boy. He's great when he's kept clean. So that's fantastic.
He's great.
My bet in this game is Mr. Calvin Ridley, 50+ yards. If you have Calvin Ridley on your fantasy team, if you know Calvin Ridley, you've probably been cursing his name. He's been absolute dog shit the past 2 weeks. I think he has a whopping, I believe it's 2 catches for 10 yards or 15 yards or something. Just absolutely abysmal. They signed this guy in 4 years, $92 million in the offseason. Obviously not the production they're looking for here. So why does he put it together in this one? Well, the coach said so. And I think I'm just riding with that. They got to do a better way of finding ways to get Calvin the ball. I need to use his speed and explosiveness more. Just get it in his hands every which way he can. Need to find a way to get him going. That's what the coach said. And it's one thing if it's just the head coach saying it. He's also the play caller. And now I know a major comment with this bet is the fact that Will Levis sucks shit through a straw, but Will Levis has a cannon, and we don't need much to get going here. 3+ receptions for Ridley, that's at -350. With 3+ receptions, the guy has 50+ receiving yards in 14 to 20 games since 2021. And the Colts defense, as Jabba was alluding to, it's just so bad against wide receivers. Kirk and BTJ last week, 88 and 122. Week before, George Pickens with 113. Week before that, Moore with 78, Odunze with 112. The week before that, against a non-Malik Willis team, 117. So essentially, perimeter receivers on non-Malik Willis teams have had 100+ yards in 4 straight games. And I think that Mr. Calvin Ridley is going to be the guy to do that today. We saw him with 100+ against the same Colts team in week 1 last season. And I think he does it today here again. So yeah.
Touchdown Bears. Let's move on to the next game.
Not a surprise. To lose 2 units in the London game, just gross. DeAndre Swift, fuck.
We got CLV though, bro.
10 yards of CLV on Swift, 4 points CLV on the Jags.
See?
Calvin Ridley also has Calvin Ridley over receiving yards, just so you guys know. Just you guys are curious.
That's a good point.
It's Cards Packers up next. I got the Cards in this one. I kind of like the matchup on both sides, except for I'm a little worried about Jordan Love going off throwing the football. But as far as the other 3 aspects of this game, Arizona's got their run game cooking. recently. I mean, in their last 2 games, they're averaging 6.2 yards per carry as a team, 177 rushing yards per game. And this isn't weird. They had one of the most efficient rushing attacks last year as well. So this is one of the best rushing attacks in the NFL. That should come as no shock to anyone. So they're coming in here looking to run the ball on the Packers. Packers' run defense has been about average on the season, but they're coming off a game where the Rams kind of exploited them. Kyron Williams not having the best year. He was getting it going against Green Bay. And the reason I think that's significant, the Rams also run heavy gap concept blocking schemes. They're second in the NFL. Cardinals are first. So this Packers run defense just really struggled with the Rams run game. Here comes the Cardinals that actually run a similar type of rushing scheme as the Rams, only they do it even better. So I don't have much faith in Green Bay stopping the run in this one. And the issue with Kyler Murray is not that he hasn't been efficient or anything like that. He hasn't connected on any deep passes lately. Just two of 12 on passes that travel 20-plus yards in the last 3 games. And Green Bay has actually been very good at limiting big plays through the air. I think they're like 6th or 7th in the NFL. So on paper, this looks like a bad matchup for Kyler Murray as far as connecting on deep passes. But Kyler Murray's been very efficient on short passes, which Green Bay's really struggled with. So in my opinion, the result of that is Green Bay overcorrecting, making some sort of defensive adjustments to either try to take the run away or try to take the short passes away, because Arizona's very good at what Green Bay struggles with defensively. And I think the result of that is Green Bay getting left out to dry deep. I think Kyler Murray's going to connect on a big play or two through the air in this one. So I actually, if you guys want a prop bet, Kyler Murray over, or what is it?
You don't know your own prop?
It's what is it? Over longest completion.
Let me pull it up. It's
put
something
it
with
up.
the completion. It's the
it
longest. This guy really likes his bet, guys. You can tell.
No, I think I don't play a stupid market. All right,
Okay.
but I think this hits. How about that? I'm on Cardinals. Someone just go. Prop Beaver.
Hey, I remember the first time I made a prop bet too. Yeah, I remember the first time I made a prop bet.
I actually don't have a bet in this game. Honestly, this is just the game that I got to the least this week. I feel like I saw some shitty weather on the board, and
it's gonna rain. It's gonna rain for sure.
And for some reason, I feel like these are just the 2 teams I have the worst read on in the NFL. I also if I'm just being completely honest with myself, I feel like I have a weird bias against the Cardinals, so I gotta take myself. I gotta take myself out of it a little bit, So just passing on this one.
I forgot to add something. Kind of a buy low spot on the Cardinals' run defense. So in the last 3 games, Cardinals have been getting run on, but they played Detroit, San Francisco, Washington. 3 of the best rushing offenses in the NFL. So the Cardinals' run defense, if you remember, they started off the year actually doing a pretty good job against the run. So I think the Cardinals' front 7 bounced back defensively. A little worried about the secondary against Jordan Love, but as they mentioned, maybe looking at some bad weather, which only helps my side, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'll just go because I kind of tailed Sauce. I got 5.5, but I just wanted to add that Kyler Murray has a lot of success as an underdog in his career. He's 27, 16-2 ATS as a dog. As a dog or 4 points or more, Kyler Murray and the Cardinals are 13-6-2 ATS. And that improves to 11-3-2 ATS when he's on the road. So he's been very, very good in this type of situation as far as Kyler Murray is concerned. He also does pretty well playing traveling to the East Coast. He's like 17-6 ATS when he's traveling to the East Coast. So, I really like the Cardinals. I like the Cardinals coming into the year, so it's a little bit of a homer bet, but yeah, Cardinals plus 5.5.
Steve and Prop Beaver, check the levels on when Steve's talking. Someone said his mic's low, so
okay, cool.
They might have just been saying that though. They're crazy. But go ahead, Steve.
These guys are crazy.
All right, I have a trend that Prop Beaver is going to absolutely love. This is insane. Since October of 2021, Kyler Murray has not won consecutive games.
He's a bum. That's why.
That's it.
Until
he has not won
now.
consecutive games since the beginning of 2021. That is
They don't have to win. They just got to cover.
That's true. That is true. I disagree a little bit with what Kyle said. I think their run defense sucks. I know it's been against tough competition, but I think the Packers are a pretty decent run team here. My best bet is Josh Jacobs over 66.5 rush yards. We're going to run this back. We bet him last week also, but the Cardinals allowing the 8th most yards before contact in the NFL. 4 of the 5 starting running backs to face Arizona has gone over this, including Brian Robinson with 101 rushing yards. Monty and Jahmyr Gibbs, 188 combined rushing yards. James Cook, 71. Jordan Mason 89. It just has not been pretty no matter who it is. And they're running the ball with Jacobs quite a bit, even though they were getting kind of stuffed by the Rams a little bit last week, surprisingly. They kept going to him. I think he had 19, 20 carries. And Jacobs actually has the 5th most yards after contact this season. I like the volume here, 14 plus carries in 4 or 5 games now, over this line in 3 of 5. I think it's a good game script here, especially with the weather. I think they're going to run the ball quite a bit. I like him to just sail over 66.5 rush yards. That's my best bet in this game. For a side, I'd probably go Packers, but I don't know. Kyler Murray and the Cardinals are a team that make you think, look what we just did. We beat the 49ers. We did something good, and they make you think they're good, and then they just lay an absolute egg. So I lead Packers, but that's my best bet.
Don't forget, Sauce, you also like I played James Conner anytime touchdown because you're a little SGP.
Yeah. Well, I like the Cardinals to run the ball in the game. I just threw that together for fun, though. Next up, Bucks Saints. I actually do have a bet in this game. One of my smaller bets, but I took Saints team total under. I got it at 19.5 at minus 105, I think, last night. In my opinion,
we're good.
Were you good?
Yep, we're good. Sorry. In
my opinion, this is not a fade of Spencer Rattler at all. It's a fade of the current state of the Saints offensive line. It's really bad. They're still heavily injured. We were just talking about this last week. Let me pull it up right now. So Lucas Patrick. Lucas Patrick's been ruled out too. When I looked last night, he was questionable. He's been ruled out too. Cesar Ruiz still out. Obviously, Ramczyk. Shane Lemieux, that's their backup guard. He's out. They're crushed on the interior offensive line here. And Derek Carr, say what you want about him. A lot of people hate him. A lot of people love him. Whatever. He gets rid of the ball quickly. And a quarterback like that will sometimes mask how bad the offensive line is. And I think it's going to be exposed of how truly bad this Saints offensive line is right now in its current state. Maybe fully healthy, they could be okay, but right now it's bad. So when we look at this Tampa Bay defense, yeah, they've struggled against the run, and maybe you might think, oh, Kamara can get it going on the ground, maybe a little bit, but I mean, having a battered, terrible interior offensive line is not exactly what you want to have going into a game where you're looking to run the ball. I don't know. I can't even look at the Saints offense, but the problem is I don't really want to lay 3.5 on the road with the Bucks here either. I actually kind of like the matchup for the Saints defense a little bit. I like these corners on the Saints. A lot of man coverage, a lot of cover 1, a lot of cover 2. Baker Mayfield's most of his dangerous numbers, they come against cover 3 in heavier zones. So I actually think the Saints defense is equipped to give Baker Mayfield some problems. Saints are vulnerable to the run, but I mean, there's no Rashad White. He's listed as doubtful when I looked. The center's out for the Bucks. So I mean, what are you going to hand it off to Bucky Irving 25 times? I don't like the matchup for the Bucks offense either. So I would also lean towards an under, but I think that there is a chance the Bucks could kill him. So I'm just Saints team total under. That's my bet.
I'll go really quickly. I'm definitely not an NFL guy, so maybe I look stupid at the end of this, but I like the Saints. I think they're going to win this football game. So just really quickly, looking at what Tampa Bay's done over the season, they got a nice win against Washington in Jaden Daniels' first career start. They beat Detroit in a game where the Lions absolutely essentially just didn't want to win that game. And then Philadelphia, which they didn't have 3 of their best offensive players. Like, I'm just not at a spot where I think that this Bucks team should be laying minus 3.5 to anybody, especially on the road. Not to mention that, like Kyle said, I do think that the Saints should be able to run the ball. And then I think that Spencer Rattler, I don't really love him, but I also think that he can use his legs enough. And not to mention, after 3 straight losses, underdogs are 3 or more points, have gone 184, 30, and 10 ATS. That's close to 60%. And almost that number jumps up to like 65% at home. I think the world's going to love the Bucks today, and I think they're going to get shot in the foot. So I think that I took Saints plus 3.5. It's one of my favorite bets of the week, actually.
Poor Spencer Rattler, by the way. He comes from a year in college at South Carolina that had probably the worst offensive line in the SEC last year. He spent his entire year with South Carolina running for his life just to take over the starting job here and run for his life all game. Anyway, Steve, what do you think on this one?
Yeah, kind of. Honestly, I don't have a lot to add after what you said because I like the under 41.5. I'm kind of on board with you, and how you kept describing on what side you liked and everything just kind of led me to that under too. Saints just absolutely battered on the O line. You got two O lines that are really going to be struggling here. And here's the deal with these two teams. If you don't know already, I've actually cast some unders on these games before. These two teams have now gone under in 5 straight meetings against each other. It's just how they play each other. Now we got no Derek Carr, like you said, getting the ball quick. Out of his hands. Yes, they could maybe run the ball with Kamara, but with this O-line, it doesn't really matter. I don't think they're going to open up many holes, and I just think we see one of those slug-it-out type games in the NFC South. Another best bet I have is Bucky Irving anytime touchdown. This is a guy who runs the ball like 8 to 10 times. His rush attempts line is now 14
Wait,
and a
hold
half.
on.
Obviously,
Do
Rashad White is out.
we want to do
Bucky Irving is
the song? The song. Let's do the song real quick.
Anytime, touching it down, scoring it, running around. It's the anytime, touchdown, scoring. Anytime you need
No, it's fruit and then walrus.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so sorry to cut you off there, Steve. So you said Bucky Irving anytime touchdown.
Yep, anytime touchdown. Rush attempts line's 14.5 for a reason. It's his backfield today. He got every single carry in the red zone the last 2 weeks, and he actually has the 3rd most red zone carries in the NFL the last 2 weeks. That was with White in the lineup. He's going to get every single carry. You saw the Saints struggle to stop Kareem Hunt. I think he'll do decent here, but all I need is a touchdown. I don't really care how many yards he gets. Just give me a touchdown, but then I also like the under in this game.
Cool. All right. Prop Beaver, you have anything in Bucks Saints?
Yes, I do. I'm taking Mr. Olave over 46.5 receiving yards. I believe you could still get that on Hard Rock. I believe most books now have that at 50.5. I'm buying in on Chris Olave today and the discount. He's coming off a performance against the Kansas City Chiefs where everybody was shitting on him. I don't think people understand about my boy Trent McDuffie. Read the fuck up. I don't understand. He clamps. Read up. I don't understand. When people go against Trent McDuffie and the Kansas City Chiefs, you're not going to put up yards and stats. It's simple. Why people were taking overs last week against him, just simply idiotic. This week, now, we have a nice matchup here. Spencer Rattler, that makes things a bit tricky. But guess what Spencer Rattler was saying about Chris Olave earlier this week? I make it a key point that when he's in, get him the ball. I don't know if Rattler's a man of his word, but I'm willing to believe him in what I see as a very, very favorable matchup. Take out the island of misfit toys that Philly threw out there when both Brown and Smith were hurt. And we have seen 3 straight wide receiver ones have their most productive outings of the season against Tampa Bay. Drake London with 154 yards on 12 receptions. Cortland Sutton with 68 yards on 7 receptions. And then Amon-Ra St. Brown with 119 yards on 11 receptions. That trio averaged 114 yards per game on 10 receptions. For some context, that same trio in their other games this season only averaged 44 yards per game on 4.2 receptions. So they literally doubled their production in those games against Tampa. And this is a nice bounce back spot. I just mentioned it. 2 receptions for 10 yards against KC and McDuffie. For Olave to record just 4+ receptions today, that is minus 275. With 4+ receptions, he's over the line in 85% of games going back to 2021. And on top of that, the Saints are dogs in this game. With 4+ receptions in losses, he is a perfect 17-0 to the over, averaging 90.5. So I'm buying in on Olave here with the dip.
Chris Olave over receiving yards. All right, next game.
I just tailed you.
Thank you.
Next game is Steelers-Raiders, and this one is so simple. The Steelers laying 3 points on the road is crazy with their current state right now. Without the two, they're missing the right side of their offensive line. We saw it last week against the Cowboys defense, who was looking like one of the worst run defenses in the NFL, missing their 2 best defensive players. Steelers couldn't do anything. That offense is bad, and I think that 3-0 start has this market completely skewed of what this Steelers team is. I know right now with Aiden O'Connell playing quarterback for the Raiders, Steelers are the better team. I don't know how much better I think the Steelers are than the Raiders right now. I mean, we said it before when we talked about it before the season. The Steelers started off with an easy schedule and then finished with a gauntlet. Steelers started off 3-0, and I still didn't have them in the playoffs. I still think there's a good chance this team goes 7-10. I don't think this is a good football team at all. Laying 3 points on the road with Justin Fields, I don't even care who it's against. Raiders run a lot of single high looks. He's got terrible numbers against that. Steelers can't run the ball, as they showed us last week against Dallas. Couldn't run the ball at all against the Cowboys defense, who have been getting run all over. This was an easy one. And so I placed this bet, and I started getting questions like, oh, how could you like the Raiders? And I honestly, the reaction made me like it more. Be like, wait, really? You guys all like the Steelers at -3 on the road right now? So I thought that everyone was going to be coming in on the Raiders on this one. It turns out people still like the Steelers -3. So I actually think the Raiders win this game.
I would agree with you. I just thought that I know a lot. I pay a lot of attention to trends and stuff like that in the NFL. And if there's one thing that I know, Mike Tomlin on the road as a favorite is an absolute fade. So, that's pretty much all I can contribute. I didn't really spend a whole bunch of time on this one, but I'll definitely be taking the points with the Raiders with you.
Yep. Can we get the poll too?
Oh, yep. Sorry.
Steve?
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm afraid of heights, but I would rather go skydiving than bet this game, honestly. This game is absolutely atrocious. The Raiders look awful. The Steelers, I don't trust. Is Russell Wilson going to be the quarterback at some point this year? I don't know. But I'm just going to tell everyone, you do not have to bet this game. You don't. And that's where I'm at, because it's just disgusting. I can't lay Steelers on the road giving 3 to anyone, but the Raiders have looked atrocious. Aiden O'Connell sucks. The whole thing is just a debacle. That's all I got.
Oh my God, I totally missed this. This is my game. Boswell and Carlson both over 1.5 field goals. I think we both see. I think we see both of the legs coming out today in that dome there in Las Vegas. So yeah, they're like 135 apiece. There's a reason for that, guys. Trust me.
Prop Beaver, anything in this one?
Was that a whale?
Trying to make sense of
the whale's coming. Don't worry.
Jesus, my grandma can make better hooks than Beaver. What does that mean? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Your grandmother was dropped from the label 3 years ago, and she's never got her job back. Okay,
it's true. It's true. Okay. Oh, the song.
Yeah, the
now
song
it all
hooks.
makes sense. The song. Okay, so your kicker prop. I guess I'll have to type that. Oh no.
No, don't even type it.
One.
Just
no, we
go
got
to the
one
next
right
game.
there. Yeah. So in this one, I actually just put a full unit on the under here. Yeah, I like the under quite a bit. I was talking to Kyle. I wanted to see his thoughts on the Steelers' offense, because that was one thing I was a bit worried about here. Not really the Steelers' offense being good in any way, shape, or form. Just the Raiders' defense being a modern-day atrocity. I mean, they're absolute piss in my mind. Now this unit loses Christian Wilkins, so that made things a bit scarier for me in terms of betting the under. But my mindset in terms of betting the under here is just playing the system. In terms of trends, the under's 5-1 in the last 6 matchups. I mean, we got a gritty matchup here, Steelers-Raiders. 7-1-1 in terms of the last 9 matchups here between these two away from Pittsburgh. And according to Dr. Profit, he was a guest on Modai Show. He's on Twitter, got a big following there. 31-8 to the under in Tomlin's career as a road favorite. And on top of that, it has never missed in back-to-back games. It just missed in the last situation this happened. If you look, this Steelers O-line looked atrocious last week against a Dallas Cowboys rush defense that was dead last in rush defense DVOA and without both of its best pass rushers. I mean, it's pretty much the same situation here, except now you're on the road and facing a bad Raiders rush defense that at least has Max Crosby coming off the edge, for Christ's sakes. I mean, did you see how George Pickens essentially handled his interviews this week? I don't know if he's a factor in the offense at this point. I mean,
I thought that those interviews got blown out of proportion a bit, though. They weren't that bad. He was just definitely pissed off. But
how do you plan on getting more snaps this week? I don't know. Ask Arthur. What do you mean, dude? Maybe take accountability for your actions. I don't know. Just stupid stuff to me. And then on the other side, I mean, how do the Raiders plan on scoring? 0 weapons on the outside. You got no Adams, no Myers. Dante Jackson Jr. has been lights out this season. I mean, unreal. And he's lining across from Trey Tucker. So just 0 weapons on the outside. And then in the run game, the Raiders are 32nd in rush DVOA. The Steelers are 4th in rush DVOA. I'm just not seeing it here. So under, even at this disgustingly low total, I'm hoping to turn on my TV and never see this game once on Red Zone.
Next.
Never see it once on Red Zone.
Hey, real quick, Prop Beaver, that was a brutal Raiders team total under that we lost last week.
When I saw that first Bowers
scored
play
at the very end on a prevent defense.
Don't get me started.
Next up is Chargers there we go. Chargers Broncos. I'm sorry, in Denver. This is my ultimate pass. I kind of want to take the Chargers, but I don't.
Oh,
I think we lost Steve. But this is an ultimate pass for me. So
there he is.
Toast. Steve's back. There he is. Steve, do you want to go first on this one? Chargers Broncos. I have nothing here. What you said about the last game, that's how I feel about this one.
Yeah. Okay, well, I actually have a best bet in this one that I really love. Under 36, I got it. It might be 35.5 now. When you think of a number, like 36, you think, well, why would you go under? There's no way. There's no chance. Guys, totals of 37 or less since 2020, 33, 12, and 1 to the under. There's a reason these are low. It's big time profit on those. Chargers have played 4 games. Not one game has gone over this total. Not one single game. 32 points is the highest. They want to play this, grind it out. Jim Harbaugh knows he doesn't have all the talent in the world. He wants to grind it out, slow the game down. Chargers offense, bottom 3 in total yards, passing yards per game. We know all that. Broncos defense, maybe a top 3 pass defense probably in the NFL, maybe number 1, going up against the Chargers pass offense that just will not do much. Chargers may be able to move the ball a little bit on the ground, but I don't think it's going to be anything crazy. Broncos offense finally played well last week, but again, it was against the Raiders, doesn't count. And they're averaging 19.2 points per game with that huge game last week. They don't make any big plays through the air, obviously. 21st rush yards, 28th passing yards per game. Chargers defense, surprisingly allowing the fewest points per game in the NFL. They just held the Chiefs to 17 earlier this year, allowing the 5th fewest yards per carry. This is a solid defense. Jim Harbaugh has got these guys playing well. And then you look at the red zone defenses. These are 2 of the top 4 red zone defenses in the NFL. Chargers allow a touchdown on only 28.5% of their drives. Opponent drives. Broncos only allow a touchdown on 33.33%. 2 weaker offenses, 2 strong defenses. Divisional game. I like it even more as I say it out loud. Give me the under 36 in this one.
Yeah,
I'll just
go ahead.
I was just saying, I'll just follow that because I took essentially what his thoughts were about the under, and then I took the 3 points with the Broncos, considering the fact they are home. Sean Payton as a home dog, 52, 35, and 2 in his career. Not to mention the fact that Broncos defense is fully healthy. The Chargers are going to be without 2 of their 3 starting corners in Samuel and Taylor. Not to mention the fact that Joey Bosa was only be able to practice once this week. So if it's just somewhat limited, I just think that points are going to be at an absolute premium, and we're getting a home team in Denver getting 3 points. I also played Denver on the money line. Let's go Broncos.
On the Broncos.
Wow.
Yeah, nothing for me. Prop Beaver, you were saying something about maybe a sell on the Denver's run defense or something?
Yeah, so basically going into this game, I kind of thought the line was just like a bit weird. I thought this would be a bit more of a pick 'em. Now, it could be due to the fact that Denver's coming off a bye week. I mean, we got not Denver. Chargers coming off a bye week. Denver's got a rookie quarterback. I mean, coming into the season, let's not forget that the Chargers team win total was at, I think, like 9.5, juiced to the gills for the over. And I think, like, the Denver team win total was at, like, 4 or 5.5? So I guess based off that, this line would make a bit more sense. But, I mean, Broncos are coming off 2 big wins in a row. Chargers look like absolute dog shit 2 games in a row. So I just thought that line was a bit weird. And me trying to make sense of it was the fact that Chargers' run game looked really bad the last 2 games, but they faced 2 excellent rush defenses. And then, the Broncos' rush defense has looked good this season, looks rejuvenated, but who have they played? I mean, week 1, Kenneth Walker ran all over them. And then the last 4 weeks, they faced horrible rush offenses. So this might be, I guess, a potential buy low on that Chargers rush offense, maybe a bounce back for J.K. Dobbins. They control the game, and that's how they cover here. But that's not what I want to back. I mean, I do not want to put my money on that. I would honestly rather back Toast side here. What I want to bet is Derwin James over 6.5 tackles and assists. You people thought you could go an NFL show without a tackle prompt. No. So I'm going with Derwin James over tackles and assists here. Safeties versus the Broncos have been a cash cow for us thus far. I mean, we just cashed with Mo Rig in the first half last week. That was the freest shit I've ever seen. We've now seen a safety cash 8+ tackles and assists, never lost 7+ tackles and assists every single week. And in the last 4 weeks, we've seen a safety duo cash in 2 of those weeks. So it's just showing how many opportunities are up for grabs in this Broncos offense. We now got Derwin James coming off both a suspension and 2 losses for this Chargers team. He's facing a division rival, should be fired up for this one, and he's annihilated this line against this Broncos team. Cashing the last 3 or 4 matchups, averaging 9.8 now. The one thing that's sussing me out a bit, and I'm going to be transparent with you guys, I bet this for 1.5 units earlier in the week. I thought this was like defensive play of the week type shit. I thought it was going to move to 7.5. The line went from -145 to -125 on me, so I'm not exactly in love with that. But so did Eric Kendricks for us last week in the smash spot against the Steelers on the Cowboys, and he cashed for us. So I'm not going to freak out about it. Safeties against the Broncos are a cash cow. We've cashed 3 bets on this thus far this year. I'm looking to make it a 4th. So Derwin James, keep it going for us.
All right, next.
Just really quickly to about that Chargers rushing game with Gus Edwards out. I just think it's going to be really hard for them to rush the ball because they're as far as EPA, they're 32 or 30% as far as early down success rate. That's 30th in the NFL. So if they don't get it running early, they're not going to get it running.
Next game up is good game. I am having a lot of trouble finding betting value on it, though. I did a video on this one. In the video, I said I was leaning towards the over. I mean, I don't think that's really changed, but I don't actually have a bet down. In case you didn't, excuse me, in case you didn't watch the video, it's pretty simple here. The Lions should be able to do whatever they want on the Cowboys' injured defense here on this field. That's conducive to the way the Lions play. They should do whatever they want here on the Cowboys' defense. But on the other side, we're thinking about taking the Lions here. How can we lay 3 on the road? In Dallas, Dak Prescott against the Lions secondary that runs man coverage. I mean, last season, Dak Prescott to CeeDee Lamb was by far the most efficient quarterback-wide receiver combo against man coverage in the NFL. So the thought of laying 3 points to the Cowboys offense against man coverage at home with a secondary I don't even think is good. It's crazy. So I guess I would lean towards the over, but I couldn't. I don't know. I want to bet this game, but I don't want to just throw money away. This feels coin flippy across the board. So I guess over or pass sucks. I want to bet this game.
I played over. I played over partly because of your video, partly of the fact that I think that the Lions maybe offensively may not be able to pass the ball as well, but they should be able to run all over Dallas with those injuries. So am I wrong, Beaver? I'm just saying.
No. So I'm laughing at a comment that said.
I didn't think you were laughing at me. I was just making sure I was right.
I'm laughing at a comment that said Derwin James will get hurt at 6, fading. What the fuck type of comment is that? Sorry. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I just wanted to make sure I didn't say anything wrong. But yeah, again, I just think points. And like Kyle said, Dak versus man coverage, that's all Detroit plays. So I don't know. I don't really know if I want to take the +3 with Dallas. But there's no way in hell I'd lay -3 on the road with the Lions.
Steve?
I feel like garbage time is going to get us over.
Yeah, I absolutely love this game. Yeah, I absolutely love this game for player props. But for a side, I agree with what Kyle said. It's tough with this Lions secondary to lay the 3. Cowboys haven't looked good at home, though. So at Dallas does not scare me at all. I don't mind the Lions 3 if I had to lean aside. But Jalen Tolbert, anybody watch him play last week? Holy smokes. Over 44.5 receiving yards. You get this at -110. He was the number 2 wide receiver, and he will be again. He led the team in targets last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. He had 10 targets, 7 catches, 87 yards, and now he gets to face a Lions defense. Not one defense has given up more receiving yards in the NFL to the wide receiver position than the Lions. Lions top 5 run defense, which always means that quarterback is going to chuck it around, Mr. Dak. His pass attempts line, by the way, is almost 40, Dak Prescott. I mean, we're talking just needing 44.5 or over 44.5 against this Lions. I just absolutely love it. Second one, kind of what Toswich just said, Jahmyr Gibbs over 58.5 rush yards. And this is my second leg of the ladder to go 70-plus rush yards. So I got Gibbs 70-plus rush yards, Zay Flowers 60-plus receiving yards. You put that together, it's like plus 440, plus 450 on ESPN Bet. Anyway, so Jahmyr Gibbs been really good lately. Over this in 3 straight games, 84, 83, and 78 rush yards on 13, 16, and 14 carries. He's now out-carried Montgomery in 2 of the 3, and this is not me fading Montgomery. I think they both go over. I'm going to be honest, and they've done that many times before. But Dallas, 17th in rush yards allowed, but like you guys have already talked about, they're missing, according to PFF, their 3 best run defenders in Parsons, Lawrence, and Kendricks this game. absolutely ravaged. A bonus center Ragnow is now back for the Lions. That's huge for them as well. So they got a healthy O-line. Gibbs is a big play guy. It's 5+ runs of 15 or more yards this season. That's 4th most in the NFL. Dallas, just in the 2 home games, they allowed 5 rushes of 15 or more yards. I think Gibbs has a big game. I think he has some long carries. I like his longest rush as well. Lions, obviously, we know not afraid of running the ball. They'll run the ball 30 times if they have to. I love Gibbs to go over. I like laddering him. I like Tolbert to also go over on Dallas. And that's what I got. And I probably just leaned Lions, but for me, it's all about those player props, baby.
Yeah, because I was leaning Lions too in the beginning, and the way I rationalized it in my brain is, okay, if the Lions are going to win this game comfortably and cover, it most likely also goes over because Dak Prescott, like down 14 points against that Lions secondary, I feel like will just put up points. So I felt like if the Lions are going to cover, it'll also go over. That's how I thought about it. But I didn't actually bet it. Prop Beaver, do you have something for this?
Yes, I do. I actually have one of the same exact plays as Mr. Jabbo over there. I'm going with Tolbert over 45.5 receiving yards. I heard about the little knee issue with Brandon Cooks, and I was like a thief in the night picking up Tolbert in every single one of my leagues. I like Tolbert quite a bit. I don't know much about the dude coming out of college, but I kind of like the sense of him coming into this year. Didn't know much about him coming in, but he has looked pretty damn solid thus far. And last week was the real breakout for him. I mean, he saw career high 89% of snaps, 10 targets, 7 receptions, turn that into 87 yards. And we saw the Steelers use Dante Jackson Jr., a guy who, through 5 weeks as far, has been one of the better corners in football, try to take CeeDee Lamb out of the game plan, and what that did was really open things up for Jalen Tolbert. I think we're going to see the Lions try to do the same thing here. Now, they obviously don't have the same lockdown cornerback, but they made it known that they plan on emphasizing forcing the ball elsewhere. I mean, after all, the dude CeeDee Lamb had 227 yards on 13 receptions against them last season, and add in the fact that this absurdly good Detroit Lions rush defense allows opponents to rush at the 3rd lowest frequency in the NFL and 40 pass attempts line for Mr. Dak Prescott. And we should see plenty of opportunities for Tolbert here. His receptions line is at 3.5, juiced as high as -210 on some books. With 4+ receptions, 3-0 to the over, averaging 74 yards per game. And something else I notice here is the fact that the Lions run a lot of man coverage. You want to know what Tolbert's average depth of target is against man coverage? It's 18 yards downfield. His longest reception line in this one is set all the way at 19.5. And with a reception of at least 18+ yards, Tolbert's 6-1 to the over. We've seen the Lions allow a lot of explosive plays this season thus far, and on top of that, they've really struggled against wide receiver twos. Through 5 weeks, they've allowed the 4th most yards per game at 71, and 2nd most targets per game at 7.4, 25th in DVOA against the position. So I'm all over the Tolbert train today. I mean, if you're a Cowboy, if you're defending the Cowboys at this point, you're putting your all into stopping CeeDee Lamb. They've defended the tight end position extremely well this season, so I see no reason why Tolbert just doesn't keep it going here. Dude's been awesome thus far.
All right, let's move on to the next game.
What you laughing at?
Someone,
What are you laughing at
someone
now?
goes, I don't know if you guys know this, but the sport is rigged. And someone sarcastically goes, oh, you're a genius. We never would have known without you. Those people are the best. All right, so Falcons, Panthers. This is a second. I already gave you guys this, the bet that I'm on here. It's the money line parlay with the Texans. I have Houston money line with Atlanta money line. I don't know if you really need to hear why the Panthers should lose the game, but in case you want to hear about this matchup, I don't see how Carolina makes stops here against Atlanta. And by the way, I'm not even huge on the Falcons offense. I don't think they're anything special, but I don't like this matchup for the Panthers defense. This is the worst rated pass rush in the NFL. One thing we know about Kirk Cousins is despite his lack of mobility and his age, if he has time to throw in the pocket, he could still be very accurate, and he could still make you pay for it. Should have time to throw in the pocket in this one. I mean, Kirk Cousins actually doesn't have the greatest numbers against cover 3, which is basically all the Panthers do is run zone, run cover 3. But he's gonna have time in the pocket. He'll figure it out. He's not a rookie. Also, Atlanta, heavy zone blocking run schemes. They're actually, I believe, first in the NFL in frequency. Carolina, one of the worst run defenses in the NFL against zone blocking schemes. So Falcons should also have no problem running the ball in this one. Should be an opportunity for Bijan and Algier both to have big games on the ground. Also, to add on to that, Panthers are pretty injured on the defensive side of the ball. Clowney's out. Josie Jewell is out. Secondary's gutted. Ashawn Robinson might not play. So on top of it being a bad matchup for the Panthers defense, they're also not healthy at all. So I don't see the Panthers making many stops here. And on the other side of the ball, I mean, look, there was the game against the Raiders, and everyone's reaction to that was, Bryce Young was the problem. That's just not true. I mean, Bryce Young was a problem. He's one of many problems this Panthers team has. I don't like the matchup for the Panthers offense either. With Nielsen gone, no more man coverage here in Atlanta. They're fourth in zone frequency, fourth in cover 3 frequency. They're also running a ton of cover 3, just like the Panthers. Andy Dalton this season against cover 3, 71.8 passer ratings. So Andy Dalton struggled against these types of coverages. And look, the Panthers have been running the ball the past few games against the Bears, the Bengals, and the Raiders. 3 subpar run defenses. Not that the Falcons have been great against the run, but Nate Landman might be back for the Falcons, their linebacker. So, yeah, I think the Falcons win and cover, but personally, I took the Falcons-Texans money line. Can you put it on the screen, please?
Yes, sir.
The Falcons-Texans money line parlay here. That's what I did.
I'll just keep it really quickly because when you talk about the GOATs, you don't need many words. Younghoe Koo over 7.5 total kicking points. People were hating on him last week. He had a rough week last week, had a couple kick blocks, had a couple kick misses. He bounces back here today. Part of the reason why I did kicking points is his over 1.5 field goals is at like minus 160. So as long as the Falcons score a couple touchdowns or just do something, I think we're going to be good. But yeah, over 7.5 kicking points for the GOAT, Younghoe Koo.
Steve?
That must be the whale. Is that the whale?
Yeah, that's the whale.
That's got to be. Yeah, that's got to be. Yeah, I got 2 best bets in this game, and it kind of goes off what Kyle said. The over 46.5. I absolutely love it in this one. But quick trend, though. Panthers are 6-15-1 against the spread their last 22. Obviously, they've been terrible. But over 46.5, and then I also like Chuba Hubbard over 62.5 rush yards. But just talking the over real quick, Carolina offense obviously been decent since Dalton took over. Their O-line has actually not been bad. Hubbard has been dominating. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. But Carolina defense, just absolutely atrocious. They've now given up 34 more points in 3 straight games. That is hard to do. They are incapable of getting pressure, like these guys mentioned. It's like they think they're practicing and there's like a red jersey on the quarterback. I mean, they just cannot get near him. Falcons offense, they've been clicking lately. Obviously, we saw 36 last week against Tampa, 26 week before that against the Saints. As good as a matchup as it gets here against the Panthers. Cousins is an absolute statue, but like I said, it doesn't matter because they're not going to get pressure. Falcons defense, they also don't get pressure on quarterbacks. How about only 5 sacks through 5 weeks for the Falcons? It has just been bad. The total points scored in the 3 Panthers games with Dalton at quarterback, 58, 58, and 46. 46 was against the Bears, which had a good defense. It was still 36-10. So it was close. But anyways, I like a lot of points here. I just keep cashing Carolina Panthers games over. Chuba Hubbard over 62.5 rush yards here. He has now ran it 52 times for 315 yards with Dalton at quarterback. He's actually been kind of sneaky elite, averaging almost 6 yards per attempt this season. Top 5 in the NFL, 8th most yards after contact, 48.6% of his yards come after contact. Number 1 in the NFL in positive rush percentage at 89.7. Absolute workhorse for this team. This season, though, so far, also over in 4 straight, 97 plus rush yards in 3 straight. He's blowing this line out of the water. And obviously with Andy Dalton, it helps. Not a coincidence. So I just like Chuba Hubbard. He's getting 58.1% of the snaps now. Miles Sanders, 23.1, but it's been even more swayed towards Hubbard in the last 3 games as well. So Falcons defense, if you don't know what they've done against running backs, Rashard White, 72, Kamara, 77, Carson freaking Steele, 72, Saquon Barkley, 95, Najee, 70, and most of those guys other than Kamara all have much lower yards per attempt as well. So I just see this. I see Hubbard just absolutely dominating this game. His rush attempts is 15.5. If he gets 16 carries, we're only needing 3.9 yards per carry. That does not seem hard at all. Final deep dive into the stat. Falcons have the 2nd lowest time of possession in the NFL. They just play fast and they have quick drives. So that just means more possessions for the other team and Chuba Hubbard. And Chuba is just a terrible name. I don't even know what they're thinking there. But I like Hubba Hubba to go 62.5 in the over in this one.
Beaver.
I mean, coming at the guy's family.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, yo, that was unnecessary.
Wow.
No, it wasn't. If you're gonna name him, go Chubba. Can we go Chubba Hubbard? Can we make it like at least
trust
normal
me,
to say?
I agree.
It's just it's too.
Yeah,
Maybe
because
it's a
Chubb
family
is so
name.
normal. Everybody names their kid Chubba, you know. Yeah, so in this one, I'm going with my boy. I mean, I have two in this one, but my favorite one is Deontay Johnson over 61.5 receiving yards. Last week, big drop-off in production after the first few games with Andy Dalton. I mean, the first 2 weeks, you saw 122 yards, 83 yards, and then last week, 23 yards against the Chicago Bears. But, I mean, that's what happens when you go from facing Jack Jones and I guess Cam Taylor-Britt to facing an elite corner like Jalen Johnson. I see a nice bounce back this week. I mean, A.J. Terrell's good and all, but this Falcons secondary has been getting pretty much cooked by wide receiver ones every single week. I mean, we've seen 62 yards, 87 yards, 110 yards, 76 yards, 85 yards. So, yeah, a wide receivers hit this one against the Atlanta Falcons every single week, and Deontay Johnson's been a target monster. I mean, pretty much his entire NFL career. I don't see why he doesn't bounce back pretty much immediately in this one. He had 6 targets last week, even against Jalen Johnson. The first 2 games, 13 and 14 targets, dominating that first read target share. I simply put do not see why he does not bounce back immediately in what should be a very favorable matchup. As Kyle was saying, I see no reason why the Falcons don't have an onslaught in terms of putting up points here. And if they're trailing in this game, they definitely should be passing. And then in terms of my defensive prop, because I could not help myself, I got Xavier Woods over 6.5 tackles and assists, and I got that at plus money. The reason I went ahead and I played this one was because the Falcons, safeties against the Falcons have been some pretty good money lately. I mean, we had Jordan Whitehead on that Thursday night football game. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see it through because he injured his groin in that one. But he would have gone over the total. Instead, Christian Eising went over the total. We've seen a safety now go over 6.5 tackles plus assists in 4 of 5 games thus far. And Xavier Woods, for some reason, is having a much better season thus far in terms of tackle efficiency. 3% increase in terms of tackle efficiency. That doesn't sound like much, but it has been a massive increase thus far. As a result, he's over 3 of 5 games thus far. Both games without Jordan Fuller, now facing a Falcons team that's within the top 5 of tackles allowed to the safeties position. And I just think that we've seen it with this Falcons team. They run a lot of plays. I don't see why that doesn't continue here. So at the plus money, I'm going to be running it with Xavier Woods.
Next game, last game. And this is my
Just
favorite.
really quickly. Chuba Hubbard means gift of God in Nigeria.
I actually knew that.
Oh, okay. I take
How do you feel now,
that back.
Jabbo? How
That's
do you
very
feel about
rude of
that?
me.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and take that back?
I feel like
Pig.
an absolute asshole. I apologize, Chubba. That's a great name. Thank you. The whole name means that, or just Chuba?
Chuba.
I think just Chuba.
Yeah. I knew that. I remember seeing that on the broadcast one time.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I knew that. I remember seeing that. All
My
right.
bad.
Sunday Night Football, and this is my favorite bet of the day. Favorite bet of the day, square as hell. Love it. Bengals minus 3.5, man. Beat down loading. Yeah, I mean, favorite bet of the day with an asterisk. That this isn't the greatest NFL slate betting wise today. So it's kind of the favorite bet of the day by default because I don't see a ton of value. But yeah, this is my favorite bet of the day. A lot of the Giants' recent success has come on the back of its pass rush. Giants' pass rush looks pretty good. They look like they might have a top 10, might even be a top 5 pass rush. But in this game, Kayvon Thibodeau is not playing, which obviously sucks. That's probably their most talented edge rusher. But that's not the reason. I'm just fading them because Thibodeau isn't playing. It's just not a good matchup here. First of all, the Bengals' offensive line has done a great job in pass protection. They're actually 6th in the NFL in pressure rate allowed. So they're up against an offensive line that does a great job in pass protection. And on top of that, you want to know who's been the best quarterback in the NFL against pressure, and it's actually not close? Joe Burrow, by a mile. Check this out. Joe Burrow, when pressured this year, 11.5 yards per pass attempt and a passer rating over 121. Both best in the NFL. So the Giants, their recent success on the back of its pass rush, are now playing an offense that has great pass protection and of a quarterback that's handled pressure better than any other quarterback in the NFL. So, yeah, I expect the Bengals to score on damn near every possession here against the Giants defense. And then on the other side, look, Daniel Bones looks great. But is this not the most perfect sell high spot on the Giants offense ever? I mean, look, last week without Neighbors and Singletary, you guys remember I took the Giants on the show. I said it was a terrible spot for the Seahawks, but that's exactly what it was. A terrible spot for the Seahawks. That wasn't an indication that this Giants offense is good without Singletary and Neighbors. Not to mention, I think we're starting to learn that Seattle's defense is complete shit. Sorry there, Steve, but just calling it like I see it here.
Whoa, that was uncalled for.
Yeah, exactly. So, look, basically what I'm saying about the Giants offense last week is they played a terrible defense in the worst spot of all time. You had the Seahawks coming off one of the biggest games of their season on Monday Night Football against the Lions, and then they played this game against the Giants with nobody, and then they had the other biggest game of their season against the 49ers in 3 days. So that one game, I'm throwing it out. Giants offense without Singletary and Neighbors, I don't even care. I mean, yeah, the Bengals defense looks bad. Based on what we've seen the last 3 weeks, are you really willing to sit here, slam your fist on the podium, and say that the Bengals defense is worse than the Seahawks? I don't know about that. So, yeah, Bengals are going to put up a big number. Giants can't keep up. Bengals -3.5.
Toast. I would like to hear Toast next. He's been in pain this entire speech.
Yeah, I'm completely floored. I guess I just didn't see that coming. I really like the Giants. I think the So I don't really like going against Kyle in the NFL, especially when he says it's one of his favorite bets of the week. So definitely can't say that I love it, but yeah, Cincinnati can't stop the run. They can't pressure the passer. I think Daniel Jones can run on these guys if he needs to. I understand that Neighbors isn't going to be there. I mean, the Bengals are 31st in sack rate. I mean, Cincinnati is 25th in adjusted line yards per rush. I mean, they're just not doing anything well. So if Joe Burrow carves Bones up and that Giants defense up, I guess so be it. But I really like the Giants with the points. So again, I'm probably going to end up not betting it now because I'm not going to deal with Kyle right now. But yeah. Yeah, I really like the Giants.
Steve?
Damn it.
I didn't make a best bet in regards to the side, but based on what you're kind of saying, I would maybe lean Bengals team total over. I just don't trust this Bengals defense on the road.
Neither.
They're just so bad. Yeah, they're just so bad. So I would probably take Bengals team total over, and after kind of what you said, I don't know. I may make this a bet, that team total over. But other than that, my only bet in this game is a Jamar Chase anytime touchdown. I don't mind his over yardage also. I think he has 5 touchdowns now, guys, in the last 3 games. He's just been absolute monster. Plus 105, I got this at. Burrow's going to be throwing the ball a lot, obviously. We know how good Chase is. Not much more to say. I think he gets another touchdown here. I think he dominates. I think it's the Giants slot corner that's the best, and Chase isn't going to see him much at all. So I think he has a great day here over, but Kyle is making me now rethink. I got all day to think about if I want to bet the Bengals.
This feels like you know what this feels like? The Giants +3.5 feels like the, and I don't this term sounds derogatory, but I don't mean it as derogatory. Giants +3.5 sounds like the fake sharp bet of the week, and I don't mean it like, I know that sounds, I don't mean that like disrespect.
I'm betting it now.
I'm saying where it's like where it's like dude, Giants +3.5 is sharp, and then in the second quarter you're like, what the fuck was that? Like, like this team is not within 7 points of the Bengals. It's perfect sell high on the Giants team. And I was on the Giants against the Seahawks last week. I was on the Giants against the Seahawks. I'm not anti-Giants. I bet the Giants 3 or 4 times this year. But it seems like a sell high on New York.
I will say Kyle has been the bones
also, real
whisperer.
quick, before Beaver goes,
You could go.
that's true. That's true. I just want to say real quick, I agree with what Kyle said on the Seahawks defense. You can throw that out. Seahawks defense, like we mentioned before, the first 3 games they played absolutely nobody. I mean, they were backup quarterbacks, and we're starting to see who the Seahawks defense really is lately. They can't get pressure. They can't do anything. That was one of the worst performances I've ever seen by my team in a while, with no Singletary, no Neighbors. It was atrocious, but it was a bad spot for them. So I don't think this Giants offense has all of a sudden figured it out. So.
Maybe that's all right, but we're forgetting to talk about the New York Giants, who led the league in sack rate over the first 5 weeks, and they're one of the only 2 defenses in the NFL with the top 6 in pass rush rate, win rate, and run rate. So, again, I just think that this Giants offense is a little bit disrespected right now. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So my favorite bet for this game, I love this one. They call him Big Play Slay for a reason. I mean, this guy went fucking ballistic last week against Mr. Jabbo Seahawks, and I think that he's in for another big one here last week. I mean, everybody was saying how Mr. Wan'Dale Robinson was going to be the one to go nuclear without Malik Neighbors in the lineup last week. Darius Slayton with 11 targets in that bowl game. Hot diggity dog, Darius Slayton. Have a goddamn day. And I think he's going to have another fantastic one in this one because he's facing a Cincinnati Bengals defense that I just can't get enough of fading. I have no clue why I didn't fade them last week. I guess it's because Zay Flowers did jack diddly shit against them in their 2 matchups last week. I think Jabbo was brave enough to fade them last week, and he cashed right away. I mean, that Cincinnati Bengals pass defense is an atrocity. We've seen Zay Flowers within 111 yards against them. Week before, what did Deontay do? 83 yards against them. What about the week before when Cam Taylor-Britt called him a college offense? Terry McLaurin, 100 yards. The week before, Rasheed Rice, 75 yards. I mean, wide receiver ones are just absolutely clowning this team right now. And Darius Slayton is a guy who plays on the outside, and what does he do? He gets big plays. Well, this Cincinnati Bengals defense is just horrible at allowing big plays. I mean, I believe they had the highest rate of explosive plays allowed last year. They have to be bottom 5 this year again, and I know that they're bottom 10 in deep DVOA, so it just is matching up to be another great game for Slayton here. If you're looking at what the books are alluding to, his receptions line is at 3.5 with the overpriced at -220 with just 3+ receptions going back to 2021. This is a guy over 73% of his starts, averaging 63+ yards. If you bump that up to 4+ receptions, this is a guy who's over 88% of his games since 2021. So I just think that there's a ton of value here on Darius Slayton in a game against the secondary that I think is absolute garbage. On top of that, I think that Joe Burrow has a nice matchup ahead of him here. The Giants, what do they present? A great pass rush. It seems like Joe Burrow is super powered when he is pressured. His passer rating and yards per attempt is literally bettered when he's pressured. So I just see no reason not to bank on Slayton to make some big plays in this one. Big play against a sorry-ass secondary. Sounds good to me. So, yep, banking on big play Slay to keep it going here. I know Mike Hilton is in the slot, and I think Mike Hilton was the one who actually put together the players-only meeting, and I forgot what his quote was, but it was so bad. It was like, guys, I know we've been bad lately, but we got to be better. It's like, that's going to get him going, Mike. That's the quote that really changes the season. So, yeah.
I'm back in here, by the way. My camera dropped for a second.
I was doing my best stalling.
I was going to say that was a fantastic
excellent
job,
stall.
That was a fantastic.
All right. So yeah, put me
I'm
back in
officially
there.
in on Fade Kyle.
What's up?
It's Kyle back. Okay.
I'm back.
I just quick question for Kyle. Bengals gone over 50 points in four straight games. What do you think about the over in this game? What do you lean total?
I mean, my thoughts were obviously when I first looked at it over. Doesn't it feel like I honestly think the Giants might really get their asses beat here. So a Bengals team total over, I would like. That's what I was leaning, but I honestly could see the Giants really struggling. I think it's going to be a blowout personally.
Oh, that might have been the quote. Guys, we've been asked. We need to be a little less ass. Yeah, there we go.
All right, so let's do the community parlay.
Yep, let's hit it.
Community parlay, the parlay we bet, yeah. Community parlay is for the community. We community, making a parlay. Yeah.
All right, you got the poll ready?
Yep.
Just really quickly, guys, if you didn't already know, Grimace, first 5, Grimace money line, Lindor, Vientos, hits, runs, and RBIs. Lindor, Vientos, hit parlay. Have a good night.
Sensation.
Grimace. All right, first game Titans.
Okay.
Then Ravens. Oh no, they like the Commanders in that. No, that poll was like dead split. You know what? Put Commanders money line and put Ravens money line. Let them vote for both. And then Eagles money line.
All right, and then while they're doing that, I'm gonna try and go for the 4-peat here with the underdogs. Ugh, I'm a bit stressed out, guys. Well,
Jabba, what was your? Go ahead, Beaver. Sorry.
We started off the morning with a 2-unit disgrace in the London game. I mean, I think that's what you get when you bet on a sorry-ass team like the Jacksonville Jaguars two ways. I mean, you bet on the offense to score. You bet on the defense to hold DeAndre Swift and even Sawyer running back under their total. And that's what you get. So
Neither happens.
see, the thing is, on games in the U.S., we're still hot. So we're going to try and keep that going here. We got Drake May, higher than 28.5 rushing yards. That's our play of the week. We got Jalen Tolbert, higher than 44.5 receiving yards. And then we got Darius Slayton, higher than 50.5 receiving yards. In terms of the promo we got going for our guys at Underdog, if you're not a customer yet and would like to sign up or add a pick to that three-leg entry, we got Joe Burrow, higher than a half total yard. If you have not signed up yet and would like to, you can join in any of these yellow states and get a deposit match up to 50% off, up to $1,000. Just sign up using the promo code BET, B-E-T. Yes, B-E-T. And maybe, just maybe, we could get the 4-peat today. God bless America.
All right, who won the first poll?
It is Ravens money line.
All right, Ravens money line.
All right. Okay, and then what's the next?
And then next up, ready for the
Yeah, I'll remember that. What's the next one?
Texans money line, Packers money line, Steelers money line, and I think Broncos. I think the Broncos are a public dog. I think they have Broncos money line there.
What was the first one? I've accidentally put Ravens because it was in my head.
Texans.
So Texans, Packers, Broncos.
Oh, Steelers.
Okay.
Oh, you did bet them.
I also like the Mets team total over too. By the way, I'd like. I think this is a letdown, big letdown here for the old Dodgers here in Game 1.
Oh, against emotional Jack Flaherty? Oh, you damn right it is. He'll be crying tonight.
Why is he emotional?
I don't know. You have to ask him.
Okay. I don't plan on it.
I could have Sean text him for you if you want.
Kyle gets to watch NFL football and his favorite team.
All
Kyle
right.
hasn't said a thing about Grimace in 2 days. I can't tell if he's nervous or confident. I'm not going to lie to you guys.
No, I'm just sleep deprived.
Neither. Just hell. All right, Texans.
Yeah, Texans money line next. All right, next up we got Lions,
Lions money line.
Falcons,
Falcons money line.
Lions, Falcons, and Bengals. That's it. Just those three. And then the last poll will do second place finishers. You gotta have to hit the X on that fourth option.
Kyle, did something? I'm dead serious. I'm not even making a joke. Did something happen when you bet the Bengals the first time and then you added to it, or did you just?
No, I just I didn't know when I first bet it. I didn't know it was going to be my favorite bet, and then I kept looking and looking. And I was like, this is my favorite bet because I can't find shit else.
Gotcha.
So I added some more money onto it because it's my favorite bet.
That's part of why I was surprised because I saw the second bet and it wasn't that.
No, I just put a few more dollars.
No, I get it now. It makes more sense now, but that's why I was like, I wonder what happened.
But it's because people if like it shows 4 bets all one unit and be like, well, why is this one your favorite and you didn't bet it more? So like I put a few $4 on it. So
Makes sense now,
And then Lions money line.
Lions money line, and then the second place finishers are it's Commanders, Packers, Falcons. So the winner of that, Commanders, Packers, Falcons. If you also want to throw Steelers in there, some people voted for the Steelers too.
I'm an idiot. How did somebody ask about my knee?
I don't know, but Shipley and Helms are about to get their ass beat.
They're on Dodgers.
Oh, Scoop asked about my knee. It was Scoop. No, it wasn't. I'm sorry. I've actually started the poll and ended it like an idiot. Scoop, my knee is healing. It is doing better. Thank you.
You can't have knee problems. You're too young.
I have runner's knee because I went too hard in the paint.
You say you went hard in the paint?
Yes, that's why I laughed.
I went too hard trying to lose the weight, and I I fucked up my knee.
Yo.
Gotcha.
I can't not laugh at that. Like, I'm
So wait,
sorry.
when you told us earlier in the week that you were injured, you were being dead ass serious?
Yes,
I thought you were kidding.
No, I fucked up my knee.
I think me and A both thought you were kidding.
No, I'm not pleased.
really
There's
hurt
no
yourself.
way in hell they took that seriously.
Oh no, I'm glad everybody's fucking laughing.
If you didn't say hard in the paint, I wouldn't be laughing.
No, I'm
but
so thrilled over here. Me, I'm
You
trying
add
to
hard
like
to
get
paint
back to
with-
my life, get back on my grind. Everybody's pissing their pants laughing.
somebody said
cause of
Beaver
injury, going too hard in the paint.
Just going too hard.
What the fuck? All right.
For a second, I thought he was going to be saying like I played basketball. And I
No, just on the grind.
All right. So community parlay: Ravens, Texans, Lions, Falcons.
We just need odds.
Sorry for the craziness today. We had technical difficulties. Plus, my notes are a little unorganized. It's a crazy week, but we had an awesome Saturday. So let's make it an awesome Sunday too, even though it's not the most value loaded day. But everyone, be sure to bet responsibly today. I'll be in the Discord in about an hour. Just want to grab something to eat, get settled. But I'll be in there today if you need me. If you haven't sent your picks in for the league, you can do it now, but you obviously can't include the first game. So anybody that submits their picks for the league right now, if you include the Jags-Bears game in it, obviously it's going to be an automatic loss.